Yeah, excuse me, bro. What do you do for a living?
I'm an artist, bro. I'm an artist.
You're an artist? What's your name?
Yeah, D4vd or David for short.
It's no secret that ever since the news broke, David has been gaslighting everyone by deleting posts, deleting evidence, and deleting everything he can to make himself look better. But he may have slipped up majorly, and in this video we'll be getting into that, as well as evidence that has recently been found in his home that has been released.
He trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Recently, David did something, and no, it's not that clip, we've already been over that, where him and allegedly Celeste have been talking and she brings up something that doesn't make him look great. But recently, he released something and quickly deleted it. But he did not delete it in time for people to quickly save it. So we may finally have evidence that is needed in this entire situation, and he may not get away with it. But at the same time, we never truly know. So with that, let's get into this video. Remember to remain respectful in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, subscribe and like.
We got some more information about Celeste Rivas Hernandez and David. A private investigator that was hired by the LA homeowner of the home that David was living in has been investigating what possibly happened to Celeste. Previously told us that he was able to figure out who was the last person that drove David's Tesla to the spot where it was later abandoned, and it was on July 29th, and he claimed that David was also home at this time.
Most of us know about the David situation so far, but little of us know about the updates. It seems like it's been almost swept under the rug by something or someone, and I'm not saying anyone has, but it's just strange how the media has gone kind of silent recently, so I thought we needed an update. So for those who don't know, the few who do not know by now, recently in a Tesla owned by David, a BOD was found in the back of it. And so people began to dig up stuff and found out that allegedly David was in a relationship with the victim way before, and she was not of age. And there's a lot of stuff that points to that, tons of stuff, but we've already been over that, and you can easily find a video discussing that. That's not what we're focusing on in this video. We're focusing on the updates.
And this was right before he would go on tour a couple hours later. This private investigator also allegedly found different things throughout the home, like media with pictures and things of Celeste and David, but also sadistic tools that he believed was to get rid of somebody, but it didn't happen like that. And now he is detailing what these tools are. Now finding out that the tools that this private investigator found in this LA home were farm tools, and he also found pill bottles.
So before we get into the evidence that he's quickly deleted that he released a few days ago, I do not know why he did that, but we'll be discussing that later in this video. I thought we'd talk about this major update. There have been items that have been recently discovered, allegedly, obviously, for legal reasons, and I've seen multiple articles about this. I've read through a few, and I think that this narration is pretty decent, so we'll be looking at this one specifically, but this is a major update, and I wish there was more people talking about this. I've seen a few videos, but it is sad because of out of nowhere this case kind of just disappearing from news. There's a few articles about it, but not as many as there used to be. So I really hope that people continue to listen and pay attention to this situation and not just click away, because it is something we need to continue to listen to updates on. We need to make sure that this young girl gets justice.
Steve Fisher told the Daily Mail that there are multiple of these items that could be used all together, and that you never need them in the Hollywood Hills home. You would more likely find them on a farm. Then went on to claim that one of these items appeared to have been recently delivered to the property because it was still in its shipping packaging. He said that he doesn't know what the impact of these items could have on the overall narrative, but adding that the presence of these mysterious items appeared very strange. And mind you, he said in prior interviews that these are items that you could use to get rid of somebody.
Farm tools, hearing about this is honestly really, really disgusting. We still do not know, and if you see something and it's not from a obviously trusted news source, it's likely misinformation. We do not know yet how exactly, sadly, she was M to the deed. We do not know. We do not have the details. I've said this before and I've said this again. Just be careful when you see these updates. Make sure that they're reading from a news source like this, or that you read from a news source, or that the TikToker, when you watch the video, in multiple videos I've done this, gone back and tried to find as much as you can to back up what this TikToker has said, because anything you can think of, someone on the internet has already faked for fame.
He then went on to say that bottles of prescription pain medication were also recovered inside, as well as various items of paraphernalia. The private investigator then went on to say that him and his team found evidence that multiple others were staying at the home in LA with David, with personal belongings belonging to men and women being discovered in the guest bedrooms, beside tables, and bathroom cabinets. He said none of the female items appeared to belong to Celeste Rivas Hernandez. He added that the footage, combined with evidence found at the house, has led him to believe that David had a tight-knit entourage of trusted associates.
This is huge, obviously, because there's already been speculation that he was not the one that did it. And there obviously is a huge possibility that he did not specifically do it, but obviously was involved, or maybe he did it, but others were involved, or maybe he was, there's so many different possibilities, but knowing that there's allegedly likely other people that were there or could have been there at the time is a insanely major update.
He said that there was a small inner circle, 2, 3, maybe 4 people who appeared to be living at the house and were very close with David. He said after the story broke, they all started unfollowing each other and deleting posts that showed them together. And people all over the internet have been paying attention to this, and 2 of David's really close friends, Asia and Neo, are some people that unfollowed them, and like Neo was wiping his social media account. And Neo was just doing this recently after this private investigator was calling him out on Twitter, asking him if he was the last person to drive David's Tesla.
Obviously, we shouldn't immediately say that they for sure were involved in the situation. It is fair to speculate it, but he did have obviously a lot of connections with different people. He collabed with different people, and immediately after the news broke, people were immediately going to those other artists that he collabed with pages and saying, like, you're evil, how dare you? It's like, not everyone is involved, but I can see why people are very suspicious, and it definitely isn't the best look to be wiping your posts, for sure. But we should not obviously point fingers until we know.
So now that we're once again hearing him reference things that can tie back to people like Neo, it does have me wondering if this is who the PI saw moving David's Tesla the very last time it was moved, right before David and whoever else would leave to go on tour. This private investigator alleged that whoever moved this Tesla also was on tour on the tour bus with David. This is a picture of Neo and Asia with David at the show that the PI is referencing. But it is important to note, we don't know if the last person that moved David's Tesla even knew that Celeste was in the trunk of that Tesla. But now we have this PI alleging that these people live with David. So is it a possibility? It could be. Now the fact that the private investigator is alleging that now he is finding pill bottles in this house and also farm tools that...
And let's say that the friends had nothing to do with it, which is obviously a possibility in this situation. Once again, we shouldn't point fingers. It is understandable. Obviously, it's not a great look. I can see why people are suspicious that they're wiping their social media, but it can be hard to get a job. It can be hard to repair your reputation if there is evidence that you have a relationship to someone that allegedly did something so horrible. He has committed allegedly multiple different crimes by now. So I can see the perspective of if they are innocent completely, they have no involvement and they were just friends with him because maybe they grew up together. I don't know where their friendship came from. Honestly, it's none of my business. I don't really care. But what I'm trying to say is it could be just a way for them to keep their reputation.
He said he believed was to get rid of somebody, but the plan never went in motion is kind of creepy. And it does have me wondering once again if something happened to Celeste with substances, and this is why we are waiting for the toxicology before anything moves forward. Because we know as of right now, we haven't heard anything from the cops, but we have heard a lot more in the last couple of days from this private investigator.
I've talked about that being a possibility in former videos. That certainly is. That's why it is crucial to know exactly what happened, because that's obviously going to change everything once we know what exactly happened, and nothing justifies whatever happened. There's no defending whatever happened. Anyone who does is some people I remember have been using David's age as an excuse. Nothing defends what happened and who committed the crime, because we do not know for sure, obviously, yet. Now let's get into the update that you have all been waiting for. David allegedly accidentally released a song and quickly deleted it. And I don't know how you accidentally upload a song on BandLab. I do not have that app, so I'm not sure how it works. I might have had it once, but I deleted it because I didn't know how to use it, which is kind of embarrassing. But what I'm trying to say right now is that I don't know if it was an accident, if he was doing it on purpose for attention, or if he released it and then was like, yeah, I probably should erase it. Maybe his lawyer said something. I don't know for sure what happened, but allegedly it's been saved, and a lot of people are talking about the lyrics, so we're going to look at them and what exactly they seem to say at the moment. In case it's copyrighted, which it likely is, I'm going to just read off the lyrics to be safe so you guys will not miss out. Here we go. This is what the song goes like. Here are the lyrics. Thought we were taking it slow, but you don't wanna wait. Don't wanna wait on me. I just need you to know there's so many things. So many things. I need to say you love me, then you say goodbye. Had a feeling you would leave my side. I still think about you day and night, and simple things always make me cry. Do I miss you? I can't decide. If I have issues, that I'm alright. If you love me, then please don't lie, baby, you're supposed to be mine. If something changed, and yeah, that's pretty much all we have that has been saved, but it definitely seems to have something to do with what's going on. And I've seen commentary videos make videos on this song specifically, so a lot of people have saved it. Once again, I think the lyrics seem to have something to do with the situation. Obviously, for legal reasons, I can't say for sure, and it's sort of my opinion, and you can make it up for yourself, but it seems to say something about not wanting to wait, which isn't exactly the best thing to say at the moment for obvious reasons. But there's a bunch about not letting me go. There's a lot of stuff that you could easily say this seems to have something to do with what's going on right now. David has pretty much said nothing this entire time. He allegedly commented okay under one TikTok of him, but obviously he allegedly deleted it. I looked, I couldn't find it because he allegedly deleted it. A bunch of people said that, but sometimes screenshots get faked, so I cannot confirm that. But if this is real, obviously, somehow this could be fake too. Anything could be faked. We gotta remember that nothing is official. Then this is pretty much the only other thing he's said this entire time. He's been silent. Other than deleting things, deleting a bunch of different things, he's pretty much just been quiet. And that could be something to do with his lawyers. I know you're supposed to remain quiet at times like these. That's probably why he says something and then it deletes it immediately, and why he's deleting certain stuff. It's probably what his lawyers are telling him to do, but we don't know for sure.
Whatever happened to D4vd? What happened with him?
People on TikTok are also beginning to question why all of a sudden everything's just gone silent. It could be because there's less updates, and maybe people are, and I hate to say this because I would never be this way, and I would try my best to never be this way. People may be disrespectful to the case, and I would say become bored of it, because some people just they don't view the victim as a victim. They just see it as entertainment in a way. So obviously I would never ever say that there's any reason you should become bored of such a horrific event. You should never ever, I even don't even like using that word, but realistically, there are a lot of people that don't value, especially they're like, a young girl, it's not my problem. And they just, once it seems uninteresting to them, they don't engage with it anymore. They get tired of it. So obviously don't be that type of person, but that could be another reason.
The Fisher has released some new information regarding Fort Celeste or Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the child who was found in the singer David's Tesla on September the 8th, 2025. Now, I do want to preface this by saying please take heed with any information that has not been released by LAPD, and please only take it as face value since it has not been confirmed by LAPD either. He had some very interesting things that he wanted to say, so I'm going to just post it and you guys tell me what you think. Now, he has been reaching out via Twitter a lot. I'm not sure what's going on with his interviews, but it appears to me that he has a lot of other cases he's working on, so I'm sure that's the reason why. When a missing persons report is filed, it is a serious matter. The person is entered into NCIC, which is maintained by the FBI. In California, they are also added to the California Department of Justice Missing Persons database, and are entered into the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children system. If a missing person is found by their family, the family has a duty to notify law enforcement.
Currently, he seems to be doing a pretty decent job, and I have looked through some of his Twitter posts, and yeah, I do, like the creator of this video said, it is definitely an interesting place, but if it spreads awareness about the situation, and he does it in a decent way, and he is not just making things up, like she said, take it at face value. Obviously, it's not official, but I hope that he can do what the authorities aren't doing at the moment, and they're taking their time. I've said it before, I hope that they're doing the right thing. I really hope that they can find the person responsible for this and make them pay for what they've done through jail time, but we can't always trust the authorities.
At that point, law enforcement officers meet with the missing person to confirm their identity and understand the circumstances of their disappearance and verify that they are not in danger to themselves or others. First time that Ms. Rivas was reported missing was February the 14th, 2024. The exact day Josh Marshall took possession of the rental house. Remember one of my last videos I told you guys this is a very, very significant thing. And the reason I say that is because she was found in Hollywood in February. And it explains the whole idea that there was a second location simply because even if she had not been found in that house, police could have found out that she was with him at the time, which probably scared him, probably spooked him. He was like, oh, they're really looking for her. So let me be a little bit more strategic and get that second property.
I know so many people have said this, so I'm just going to sound like I copied and pasted this from somewhere else, maybe Twitter or something, but genuinely, like, how did it take until she was found for anyone to connect, like, the dots? Like, I'm not ever going to blame, like, any of the people involved in the situation, but I mean, like, some of his fans and stuff, like the ones in his Discord server and the ones that like knew about it, because a few people did know about it. Like, that's been confirmed. People have commented stuff in the past in the comment sections, so a few people did know, and I'm just surprised that how did no one like realize, like, the close fans and those type of people that really knew about the situation, saw the photos, saw the live streams. Like, there were people watching the live streams. How did no one ever know? That's what I'm curious about. And there's obviously been speculation he paid off people and stuff, but he couldn't have paid off every single person. Like, there's no way, right?
This just confirms so much for me, but this is my own theory. So don't take it, take it at face value. States the last time she was reported missing was April the 5th, 2024, but was she truly missing? Question mark. This photo that everyone has been posting lately, it was taken on May the 30th, 2024. Miss Rivas had attended her cousin Esmeralda's high school graduation. In September, she was seen on video fighting with the neighbors at the Lake Elsinore home. So why didn't any family member notify law enforcement that she was safe? Possibly because they were worried it would trigger a CPS investigation, which could be plausible. I mean, also including the fact that, they could possibly be immigrants as well. They might not want to deal with all of that extra noise that comes with dealing with the police. So he also stated that from the start, someone close to the situation in Lake Elsinore told him that after the last report, which was April 5th, 2024, certain family members instructed concerned neighbors not to search for Miss Rivas because
it is strange how few it was discussed once again until she was found deceased. Like, that is definitely interesting. And like this video creator did say, there's many reasons, and that's why I've said we shouldn't like get them out of the family yet, obviously, like until it's confirmed that they had some involvement, that they hid it under the rug. But there's many different reasons. We don't know their situation, we don't know their background, so I just feel like it's wrong to attack them until it's 100% confirmed, because that just feels wrong.
She was, quotation, staying with a family member near Los Angeles. Is that why we haven't heard a word publicly from her family? Question mark. He then goes on to state, Esmeralda, I have a question for you. Did you attend an event with David and Celeste on April 21st, 2024? I'm curious why Celeste was attending your graduation yet was still considered a runaway and not enrolled in school. Now, Steve Fisher also ties this whole statement together with one piece of evidence. At the home where David was staying, I found a certificate in the name of Esmeralda from Build-A-Bear. It was dated April 21st, 2024, just 16 days after Miss Rivas was reported missing. Also, on April 21st, 2024, David posted a TikTok video on a roller coaster that appears to have been filmed at Six Flags. There is a Build-A-Bear located at Six Flags.
Imagine if it is a coincidence seeing all this, that somehow she sadly passed away due to a S to the E. And it wasn't on purpose, which obviously there's so much stuff he did wrong in this situation, but since that's a speculation, we are simply going to talk about that. Obviously speculation, a million other things could have been just as likely to happen. We are simply speculating what allegedly could have occurred. And imagine if he wrote a bunch of the songs before about ending someone's life and all of that stuff in all of his songs. Wouldn't that be a weird coincidence? Like, that's why I just think it's such a weird coincidence that it almost doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, artists talk about that stuff all the time, but he was beyond obsessed with it. And his obsession seemed to increase over time. So it just seems so, everything just seems so weird about him in this entire situation.
Common sense tells us that Miss Rivas was there and that she likely invited Esmeralda. Six Flags requires a chaperone 21 years or older for any guests under 15 years of age. The question is, was anyone else there? I do want to add a little bit more to his rule about Six Flags where it requires a chaperone 21 years or older. During that trip to Six Flags, April 21st, 2024, David had just turned 19. He was not 21 years old and he was not allowed to be a chaperone. He literally had just turned 19, March the 28th. Now, also in the month of April, guess who else I noticed was in LA? Possibly Mr. Josh Marshall. Does this look like him to you? I feel like it's him, but he went with David to Coachella that year for his. So now the question for me is, was it one of Miss Rivas's family members who accompanied them to Six Flags with Esmeralda, or was it at all Josh Marshall?
That's what's so confusing, is David had a lot of connections, a lot of collabs, and a lot of friends. So many people, and a lot of them, most of them are wiping their social media. And I've already explained earlier in this video that there's so many different reasons why they would do that, and that doesn't automatically mean they're guilty. I can understand why you think it doesn't make them look innocent, and obviously a guilty person would do the same thing. But what I'm trying to say is, like, we can't point fingers, but at the same time, it's like, there was definitely, allegedly, it just seems so likely that there were people involved. And obviously it wasn't just him. Tons of people knew about this inappropriate relationship, and they didn't say anything. People could have helped him. We do not know, but it's just annoying because, like, out of all the people wiping their accounts, some are probably innocent and some people are guilty. Likely. This is obviously just a likely scenario.
I don't know when he left, but he was there days before the Six Flags trip. It just makes me wonder, how open was this relationship with David to the family? Why wasn't law enforcement notified that Miss Rivas was no longer missing? Why wasn't she in school? And if she is refusing to comply, why weren't school administrators or school police professionals trained to handle these situations notified? Miss Rivas was only 13 years old at this time, and she had been a teenager for just 6 months. Let that sink in. She had just become a teenager and was allowed to stay out of school and be in a relationship with an adult man. An adult made her, David, and committed crimes against her, and I sincerely hope that LAPD and the District Attorney's Office do not let this slide, as has happened in far too many other cases. I'm speechless.
I think he put it pretty perfectly. There are so many chances that he could get away with it, and it's just going to be so painful to witness if he just gets away with it. Because, I mean, how can you get away with doing stuff like this? Like, I know that money and power, I've talked about this in former videos, and I've discussed this before when surrounding the topic of David and this entire situation, but, like, it's just so annoying because, like, how can you get away with this? I don't care if you have all the money and the power in the world. What you did is, like, beyond disgusting. Like, how can we live in a world where getting away with something this horrific is just possible?
Hey, us TikTokers, us internet niggas, I ain't gonna lie, we some cold muggers, bro. I just seen it break down this whole David shit. Cause mind you, I got my own theories behind this shit as well, gang. I got my own theories. My nigga David, you outside, bro. You did it. You did it. The videos mean too much. The motherfucker in your eyes is covering up what you want, what you don't want to see anymore. You get what I'm saying? Hella I'm subliminal as suit, gang. Then you got all these little videos on TikTok, dirty shoes, blood on the shoes, cutting your lips after quote-unquote girl went missing. And then on top of that, they just brought in this Gus. My whole theory before I even heard about Gus, before I even made this video, 9 times out of 10 when a nigga shout, it's over a bitch. Over a bitch.
And I know I've said this before, but I am getting a little bit annoyed at how TikTok is reacting to this entire disgusting situation. First of all, we have people making, like, the annoying joke videos, and, you know, like, think of, like, the Vine boom and the slowed voice. If you're on TikTok enough, you know what I'm talking about. And it's just, like, the way it's treated kind of like a joke. And this video isn't the worst, it's just, like, the way, I don't know. I don't like the way he's really talking about her. I don't know how to explain it. Like, fighting over a pitch. Like, it just seems kind of like, just it's not like the funniest situation. You know what I mean? I just feel like people are making it into a meme. And like, all these other situations that have happened recently involving tons of victims, and I don't even need to name it for you to think of what I'm talking about, just to become like memes on the internet. And that's just kind of annoying, because like, imagine the victims are still alive. Imagine going online and just seeing that like, it's a silly little joke. The person that like ruined your life and like literally gave you so much trauma. And I just do not want this entire situation to become a meme. Like, I don't want it to. And that's a problem we have on the internet, when something horrific becomes viral because the person behind it, or the person that's victim, or there's some reason that it does, it becomes like a meme. People just, their first thought is, I'm gonna take this awful situation and make a silly little meme out of it. And usually AI is involved or something. I just hate when there's like no respect there, because like, a young girl lost her life. Like, let's have a little bit respect and not make this into like this silly little joke.
You're 18 years old, you're living the dream, you're making all the music you want, and you decide to get with a
13-year-old girl.
And then you become the 18-year-old Michael Myers. Okay, you know what? That's fine. Cut 2 years later, they find
her body in your trunk. What the fuck are you doing?
Okay, you know what? They don't know it's you, though, because there's no real proof. Unless it's just in your trunk. Somebody probably did it to frame him, right?
Until you find that the body is deceased.
Okay, then you release songs, right? One of the songs is called
Romantic Homicide.
The lyrics, literally, you say her name in the song.
It just feels a little bit wrong. Like, this creator, I feel like they did not have bad intentions. Neither did the one before. Like, they didn't have terrible intentions. I understand, like, it seems so dumb, the fact that, like, he did so many things that were so obviously directed towards the one that allegedly, that, you know what I mean. Like, it seems so dumb. Like, it seems planned. It seems like he wanted to get caught. But it's just, I don't know, it feels wrong, because I've seen so many of these videos, and I had to remove some of the sound effects in the last clip that I just showed you, because so much of this stuff is copyrighted. I keep getting copyright, and then the video will be taken down, but it just seems so unserious, like the Vine boom and stuff. I don't know. Once again, nothing against either one of these creators. It just seems a little bit wrong. Like, let's try not to make it into this, like, meme-like situation.
Hey y'all, so everything that I broke down in my psychological and behavioral analysis video for David, one of our friends in the comments pointed out 2 specific songs to me. And of course, me being me, I went and I listened to them. And I need y'all to hear me when I say this. Everything we talked about is right there in the lyrics. Now, mind you, I never really was like a heavy David fan. I only heard maybe like 2 of his songs. Of course, the romantic, something feeling, something that, I don't know. There's a song on the David Archive SoundCloud. It's called David Freestyle. Now, strangely, it was uploaded July 15th, 2025. And this was right before he got ready to go on tour.
I cannot play the song, but I will tell you what it talks about. It's very short and it's very depressing. He talks about being lonely, sad, and not wanting to L to the E as a kid and just being miserable. And it just shows the side that isn't always seen and that a lot of people don't see because it obviously isn't like his official song. But it basically goes through his background and how he used to be so miserable and he just hated everything. And obviously, that is, a lot of people talk about going through depression and stuff, but it's not specifically depression what he seems to be talking about. It's more of just like not feeling safe. That's what the song seems to talk about. And does it have anything to do with anything? Perhaps not. Perhaps he's somehow innocent in the situation, but it definitely shows that he has lived a sort of disturbing life from his perspective, at least, and his view on the world may be different than ours, and he may see, as this TikToker later explains, he may think that control equals safety. So if he's incredibly controlling, he's being safe. He may interpret pain as something differently. And this is not me defending him or anything. Do not take it that way at all. What I'm trying to say is this may show us how he sees the world and maybe see why exactly he justified what he allegedly did.
He describes being homeschooled, terrified, praying every day, wanting to die by 15. That is not artistic exaggeration. That is a cry from a kid who was raised in fear and isolation. That type of environment rewires your brain. It teaches you that pain equals love. Control equals safety. That's the foundation of who he became.
And there are other songs on the Archive that are so disturbing. Him talking about, like, I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. Please, God. I know I've made hits. And it's just so... It's so strange and not in a good way. So, yeah, it's definitely, his songs tell a lot, and this is honestly disgusting. I hope the girl gets justice, and the more you know about this case, the less you will be able to sleep at night. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.